Welcome to Boring Money, Rich Life. I'm your host, Joy Hicks, and today we're going to talk about attention is currency. And I wanted to talk about that today because I actually just got done reading this book, and it's called Start Thinking Rich: 21 Harsh Truths to Take You from Broke to Financial Freedom. I'm actually reading this book for a book club that I'm starting here in Dallas, where we kind of read about finance, read about money and wealth and millionaires. And so this is actually the first book that we're starting with because mindset is super important when you're learning, how to create wealth and just learning that you actually can be rich and knowing that it's okay. So we actually started with this book, and in the book, there's this one chapter, and it's called If You Binge Watch Netflix Without a Side Hustle, You Will Be Broke Forever. And that actually stuck with me because I feel like a lot of people don't understand attention is currency. Your time is actually money and it's very valuable. And a lot of business owners and a lot of investors, they want you to kind of waste your time and your attention the same way that you waste your money. Because if you do that, you're going to spend all of this time, all of this attention on their platform or paying attention to their service. And so in turn, they get rich, right? Whether that's through ads and advertising contracts that they have, people will pay them as long as they have people spending time on their platform. So I wanted to talk about that today because I think it's very important to kind of be a good steward, not over just your money, but definitely over your time, because we only have so much time in a day. Like businesses, like social media, like Instagram, TikTok, even Netflix and HBO with their streaming services. And then even television, like DirecTV and Comcast. All of these businesses, they're not only charging you to use the service, so not only are they making money by you actually paying them to use their service, they actually make money the longer that you spend your time, consuming their content and watching, because again, there's ad spends and things like that that they receive. So pretty much think of it like the more lazy that you are, like after work, if you just sit down after work and watch Netflix, maybe until 10 or however late you go to bed, like the lazier you are, the richer you're making these companies because your time is literally so valuable. So, to kind of take it a step further, there was a recent article that went out and it was talking about the Netflix CEO. And he was pretty much saying that the biggest competition for Netflix is not HBO, it's not Stars, it's not Nickelodeon or whatever their streaming services. The biggest competitor that they have is actually sleep. So, those nights where you worked all day and you didn't really get a lot of time for yourself. So you're like, you know what? I'm going to stay up late and I'm going to watch Netflix and I'm going to have this revenge time where it's just about me. Netflix loves that because literally their biggest competition is your sleep, it's your time, it's your attention. And so in the article, it was saying that 70% of Americans, and of those 70%, 90% of them are millennials actually, they tend to binge watch about 5 episodes at a time when they watch Netflix. And when you actually think about it, I feel like the shortest episodes on Netflix tend to be at least 30 minutes, and then the longest ones can be like a movie or it could even be a series, but it could still be anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. So the fact that you could potentially be spending 5 hours at a time just on your entertainment, it's really sad because it's like that's 5 hours that you could be using to build wealth. That's 5 hours that you could be using to invest in yourself. So if you're kind of struggling at the end of the month and you're like, man, I don't know where my money is going, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, you probably should not be spending your time on Netflix, especially not that that much time. Like, I am a big firm believer in like self-care. So I definitely feel like people should have some time for themselves, but like probably cut it down to maybe like 2 episodes max. Like, hey, I'm gonna watch maybe 2 30-minute segments or like 1 hour long segment and then be like, okay, I'm gonna use this other time to kind of invest in myself. And so, again, they love it. Like the owners of Netflix, the stakeholders of Netflix, the investors in Netflix, they love that you spend your time binge watching these shows because it literally makes them wealthier. So there was a sentence that I kind of took out of the book, and it was saying, when you spend an hour on your phone, and I kind of adjusted it a little bit, but pretty much when you spend an hour on your phone or watching TV, business owners and investors get rich and you get poorer because you've done nothing for your own prosperity. So that's why it's really so important because, again, you're kind of paying to use this service. So you're already kind of spending your money on it. And I've kind of talked about before that like money is literally a seed. It's literally something that you can use to be investing or investing in your business or something that you can use to get more money, right? So you're already kind of paying however much a month. And I'll be honest, like these streaming services are actually not cheap. Like they actually keep getting more and more expensive, and now you can't even do like password sharing with Netflix. So Netflix is literally doing everything in its power to make more money. You know, they won't allow you to password share. They're raising their prices. And then here we are spending on average potentially 5 hours a time or a sitting watching it. And so that's why it's really important to not just look at your time as like, this invaluable thing. Like it's literally so valuable that people at these corporations study how they can keep you on these platforms. And trust me, I know I'm a UX designer and I literally study customers for a living. So they are really wanting you guys to spend as much time as possible. But the downside is that that's time that you could be investing in yourself. So the book, it then kind of goes in to talk about like how you can increase your income. And it does say it did use like by 40%. So it said how you could immediately increase your income by 40%. I didn't include that statistic or number, but definitely you can increase your income by not wasting your time. Like putting that same amount of time into like a side hustle, putting that same amount of time into learning like a new skill. And that could be anything. Like people will pay for all kinds of things. If you think about the fact that people would literally buy like a painted rock. In Colorado, when I was living there, you would always see these rocks on the road and they have like these really pretty like pictures on them that somebody hand painted. Like people will literally pay you to paint on a rock. People will pay you to help them in their business. Like if you're good at building systems, people will pay you for creating your own content that they can watch and they can binge. People will pay you for styling them, for doing their hair. Like there's so many things that you could be doing with your time to actually make you money versus just kind of like watching pretty much two of the most valuable things go down the drain, which is your time and your money. So if at the end of the month, if you notice like, man, I'm always kind of overspending, or I've been in debt for the past few years, or, I never seem to have enough money and I'm living paycheck to paycheck, take a look at like what you spend your time on. You definitely want to track like your expenses and know where your money is going. But knowing where your time is going is just as valuable because, again, your time is precious. There are companies literally studying how they can get your time and attention stuck on their platform. So if you spend less time like binging, and I'm talking to myself too because I'm not a big like Netflix or TV person anymore. I'm horrible with TikTok though. Like, I will spend hours sometimes on TikTok where it's so bad that I'll get like the little moon and it's like, oh, you've been on here a while, take a break. So I'm literally talking to myself as well. Like, we have to definitely value our time more when we're wanting to build wealth because, again, that can be used to either learn a new skill, read books about money, or to even invest into different side hustles that you can then use as a way to build more wealth. So, as always, what is one boring thing that you can do today to start fueling your rich life? Again, I'm your host, Joy Hicks. Thank you for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe.